Chun Maxim of this week, the Wing Chun Maxim of this week is up on the board, and I'll read it to you as well. It is: a punch with the fist reaches farther than a strike with the palm. A punch with the fist reaches further than a strike with the palm. Okay? So this is a follow-up maxim to last week's maxim about the palm being yin and the fist being yang. This is talking more about the delineation between the palm and the fist, and when to use each and why would you want to use one over the other. So I'm not going to go into the realms that we went into last week because I don't want to repeat myself or be redundant. So I'm just going to strictly stick to this particular maxim and interpret it for you. Unlike last week's maxim, it was really deep and you had to think a little bit more for the interpretation. This one seems to be pretty straightforward. Okay? So I'll give you the interpretation of this, and the first one is pretty straightforward, but there's more to it than that in a combat application. So let's just start with the very most surface of interpretations of this maxim, that a punch with the fist reaches further than a strike with the palm. If Travis comes up here and I just use this individual, he stands right here, use this so you guys can see. If I'm trying to punch and I don't close the gap or anything, we're just trying to punch, my palm, I'll start with the palm, my palm, see how it's about 3 inches away from his face, 3 inches away from his body, okay? But my fist reaches further, see, I'm on his chin, I didn't move anything, I didn't lean in towards him or step towards him, palm, fist. Palm doesn't reach, fist does. Why is this? Well, it's simple anatomy, physiology. Simple. The palm is just as long as your arm. Okay? Remove the hand, the palm is as long as your arm. At the wrist, the end of your wrist, that's as far as you're going to go. Okay? But the hand, depending on how big your hands are and how long your carpal bridge is, the carpal bridge being from last week's maxim, carpal bridge starts at your wrist and goes through your knuckles, carpal bridge, and then goes into your phalanges here. Your carpal bridge here is a good anywhere from 2 to 4 inches typically, unless you're Brock Lesnar, then who knows how big the carpal bridge is, okay? He has massive hands, massive guy. But your fist gives you an extra 2 to 4 inches of reach, okay? So my palm's here, my fist hits him without me trying to extend towards him. So on the surface, or the first level of understanding of this maxim, it simply is that a punch with a fist reaches further than a strike with a palm. Now, there is more to it than that, though. As long as you have that understanding first, that's a good place to start in this interpretation of the maxim. So what is a further interpretation of this maxim? How do we use it? Well, if I'm wanting to get in close, and I'm really up close with Travis here, and I think it's a necessary evil to use my palm and do damage to him, then it's a lot easier to do damage to him with my open hands when I'm such in a close quarters situation, when I'm in close quarters combat. Why is that? Well, I'm in a shorter distance, so I need to use a shorter weapon. Granted, it's only 2 to 4 inches shorter maybe, but still those make a difference. Those short distances make a difference in a shorter area. From this distance, your grandmother can hit you from this distance. It doesn't have to be bad to the bone person to hit you from this distance. Anyone can hit you from this distance. Okay? So I'm going to shorten up my weapons. Yes, you can use elbows, you can use knees, but we're going to talk on headbutts and biting and all that good stuff. We're going to talk about the difference between the fist and the palm. So the palms are a shorter weapon, and I'm going to be using things here. Palm is closer, palm is more damaging, but also my hands are open, and that is significant. At this range, I need to be in good position, meaning my elbows, my knees, my body structure, my hands between me and my opponent, but I need to be in a good position to hit him properly, okay? And I have to do this quickly. However, it doesn't matter how fast I am, speed, or your speed, is relative to your position. Speed is relative to position. So, what does that mean? Well, I need to be quick here because, again, if my grandma can hit me from this distance, so can Travis, okay? So I'm trying to hit him, and I need to have my hands open using palm strikes so that I can flow from one thing to the next. If I'm using punches, my fist is clenched. And if you can see this, look right here. My hand is open, this area is relaxed. As I clench my fist, look at the tendons and ligaments right here. They're tensed up. Keeping my fist white-knuckled and all this tense, my arm moves slower. I just said I need to move faster because I'm in a closer range. I don't want my fist to be this tense. I need it to be open so that I can flow from one movement to the other quickly and quicker than with a closed fist. So I'm in close, I'm hitting, I'm trapping, he's throwing punches at me, he's trying to grab, I need to flow, I need to do different things to him, and I need to have my hands open and available to block and punch and not make a fist, but here, bam, 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 down there. Everything needs to be in proper order, in good position, and be done quickly. So palm is a lot better in this range, but it's also more devastating. However, the fist, if I'm using fists, I'm in here, okay, that's good, but it's a more of a long range usage. I always like to say that the fist is gentlemanly, and it's a gentlemanly way to fight versus the palm, which is really going to do some damage. So where do we use the fist? Okay, well, in here there's the long range fighting, there's long bridge, mid bridge, short bridge, and eventually just one bridge of fighting. But in a longer bridge, if I want to keep him away and keep him in a long bridge of fighting, I'm going to use my fists. I'm going to keep him at the end of my fists at a long bridge. So he's here and we're at long bridge, okay? And I am trying to keep him away from me. I'm going to do that by keeping my head back and hitting with my fists, okay? I am hitting him with my fist. I'm not allowing him to get in close. As he tries to get in close, bam, 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 I'm keeping him out here because I can reach him. I can't reach him doing this kind of stuff, okay? With my palm strikes, I have to close the gap to get that, or him come to me and walk into one of my palm strikes, okay? So if I'm staying out and I want to keep him away and keep him out, I'm going to keep him at the end of my fist. The caveat to that is that's where a lot of surface damage is done, meaning cuts, broken noses, busted lips, contusions, these types of things. You'll see more of that when it's long range and you're hitting in the head. A lot of other bruises and things because the knuckles, remember, they cause external and internal damage, okay? Maxim from last week. So long range, shorter range, okay? Close quarters, more in the palm. Long range, more in the fist, okay? So these are some uses, and when you guys are sparring here across the hall, you're doing long bridge sparring, your heads are back, you're extended, you're keeping your head out of range, you're throwing dukes, you're throwing fists, okay? And maybe some chainsaws when you get up closer, palm strikes and chainsaws, okay? But the fist is more of a longer range thing. So the fist reaches farther than a strike with the palm, okay? Any questions on this maxim of the week? Thank you, Travis. Any questions? No? Very good. All right, well, that's the maxim of the week.
You